the Online Entrepreneur Motivation Series, discussing ideas, strategies, and mindsets to help entrepreneurs become more successful online. Now, today's presentation is all about constant improvement, and I believe that this is an area that a lot of entrepreneurs and business owners take for granted, or in some cases, don't even think about at all. And so I want to shine some light on this today and inspire you to think about it, not right now only, but all of the time. And look how you can bring the idea and the philosophy of constant improvement into your world so that you can be more successful in your business. And it all starts with this. Real happiness comes from mastery. And I want you to think about that idea for a minute. Think about some of the times in your life where you felt the most alive, and specifically in business, the times that were the most exciting for you. Yes, it's great when a big paycheck comes in, when a lot of money comes in, but some of the most invigorating times, especially when you take a poll of entrepreneurs, the most invigorating, enlightening, exciting times come from those moments where they have truly conquered something, they truly mastered something. For a professional speaker, it might be the first time they delivered a speech and got a standing ovation. For an author, it might be getting that first book published and making your first sale. It could be anything, but the idea of starting off small, starting off with a limited skill set, developing your skills over time, and eventually becoming extremely proficient at something is one of the most rewarding experiences you can ever have in your life. And the really cool part about this is as you develop competency for something and as you become a master at it, that process never ends. You can never completely master something. It's a very, very interesting, paradoxical thing, really, when you think about it. You can always get better at whatever it is that you're doing. And that's why you see some of the best people in the world at their craft continue to work on it, continue to develop and hone their skills, and they're almost addicted to this growth process that they get into. So realize that real happiness is going to come from your mastery more than it is going to come from any other format of business. So what are you mastering? That's the question you want to ask yourself. But I also want to get you thinking about the idea of patience. And patience is, as this particular slide says, a lost art form. There are so few people who are willing to go through the almost painful experience of spending the hours, putting in the time required to become good at something, to constantly improve something, to master something. It's a painful thing to do. Let's face it. When you first start something, I don't care if you're learning how to play the guitar or you have no tech experience and you want to learn how to develop websites, all of these things have this massive list of skill that you must develop, and the initial phases are painful. And a huge degree of patience is required, and that patience is often what's lacking in most people, and that's the thing that causes people to abandon the art of mastery altogether. Realizing that patience is one of your biggest virtues. It's one of the most important things you have to embrace and hone into your life. And it doesn't mean you're not going to get frustrated. It just means you're going to understand the process that patience is required, that I am going to feel frustration, that I may even actually feel pain or anxiety because I have to face this thing that I'm not good at yet and go through that really awkward phase to a point where I finally start to catch it. And when you realize that, when you realize that patience is a lost art form and that few people are willing to do it, it makes it easier for you to persist through those difficult times because you remind yourself of this fact that so few other people are going to do it. And by the time I get through it, it's going to be so worth it because I've passed the test that 99 out of 100 people will not pass. What is your level of patience right now? Again, it doesn't mean you're not going to experience frustration or yell a bunch of curse words at the wall, whatever it is. You're going to do that, but you're also going to go through that process remembering that if you persist, and more importantly, if you're patient enough to get through that to a point where you finally make that breakthrough, that's when things start beginning to turn around for you, and you're committed to the philosophy of constant improvement. Now, if you think back to our first presentation about business development, where we talked about honing in on one skill, or a small skill set of things that you do naturally well, that people pay you for your expertise for. If you've done that correctly, and now you come to this section where we start talking about constant improvement, what you see on the slide right now is what's happening in your life, and it doesn't get any better than this. You are getting paid to get good at your passions. Constant improvement will just come naturally to you because there's people out there paying you to do this thing, and here you are going through the mastery phases, going through that stage or that phase of patience and persistence to just get better at something that you already want to be doing anyways. This is where things become really sweet. You become a person who makes a lot of money, and you're really, really happy in making that money. If you don't do the first part, if you don't hone in on the things that you want to do and want to master, then it's impossible to get to this phase, which is getting paid to get good at your passions. And I'm sure you would agree that nothing really trumps this. If you can get paid to get good at something you already want to do, that's pretty awesome. Finally, and this ties in nicely, make it a game. Make it a game or a challenge to improve every single day. Try to beat your record. I know that for me personally, when I really commit to my fitness and I want to go, increase my cardiovascular strength, and when I go on runs, when I time my runs, if I'm doing a certain length of run and I time it, I know that I want to beat my time, even if it's by 1 second. I'm driven and motivated and inspired to just beat it, beat that time that I did the day before. Or if there's a certain product that I sold and it sold X amount of dollars, I want to see if I can do X times 2 or even X plus 1 if I have to. Just beat it by a little bit. The fact that you can see the results and you can see the increase is huge motivational fuel to do it again and to persist through and to actually get you through that patience phase that you know you're going to need. So if you turn it into a game where you keep score and you track things and you see that you're increasing and improving every day, it makes it that much easier. See it as a game, not as a chore, and you're going to love it. And the idea of self-improvement, constant improvement, is going to come naturally to you. Now I've got a couple of exercises you can do right now to begin working on and honing your ability to have constant improvement and to focus on doing that on an ongoing basis. So first, you need to book a time where you're going to dedicate some focused attention to perfecting and mastering your craft on a daily basis. So some people like to get up an hour early and dedicate that first hour of their day to this art, this specific form of improving themselves, of developing their craft, developing their mastery around whatever topic it is that's important to them. It could be at the end of the day. It could be on your lunch break, or it might be at random times throughout your week. The key is that you do this and you do it every single day. And I can almost guarantee you that as you start doing it, you'll start dedicating more and more time to this on a daily and monthly and even yearly basis. Next, you want to create a log. And this can be a journal that you write in, or a notebook that you have online, or your computer, or even on your phone, where you can start tracking the progress of your improvement. You can describe how your skill is developing, how you feel about it, what you've been able to do today versus where you were last week, and where you're going in the future. This brings an awareness of how you've been improving, and it fuels that mode that you get into when you want to improve even further. It makes this constant improvement method, this methodology, a lot easier for you to embrace when you can visually see track points and case studies along the way of how you have been improving your craft. But you can't do that unless you log it. So begin logging it today, and constant improvement will be part of your life moving forward.